Today, we will be highlighting one form of self-expression in particular, and that is, I'm going to let you say.
Fashion.
You see how she said that, guys? It's not just fashion, it's fat. I can't do that. So, renowned carnival and celebrity costume designer Chandy Lewis hails from the Twin Island Federation of Antigua and Barbuda. He has been making waves throughout the Caribbean region, the United States, for vivacious band, and even China. Wow, great. For over 15 years, he has designed for performers, pageants, and mass bands. His designs have graced television screens on Fox 5 News and the pages of magazines. For Sugar Mass 50, so we're bringing it home now, he captured the title of Best National Dress Designer for Keneen Blanchett's gown. So join us as we welcome the legend, the living legend, I would call you, Chandy Lewis, to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, Chandy. It's great to have you here with us today.
I think it's needless.
I like that.
We're global, so good morning, world.
In time. All right, so let's start with your winning of the National Best Dress Design that was worn by Keneen Blanchett. Walk us through the concept, because I imagine design is an entire process. So conceptually, what was that like when you began to put pen to paper?
Well, designing a national dress in general comes with a lot of challenges. Most people would know me as the feather boss, as I like to do pretty costumes with feathers and blah, blah, blah. But when designing a national dress, I have to go into the detailing of getting more creative. So when I was approached to design for Keneen Blanchett, the requirements was a national wear, but they didn't want it in a costume form. So I had to produce this national wear in the best of my ability. The concept that I came up with first wasn't this actual concept. But when I had that first concept, I was like, you know what? I need to do something better. I need to do something that would wow the audience. So I decided to do the masquerade. The costume in titles was Celebra, Masquerade Queen of Sugar Mass. It wasn't an easy task. Wasn't at all. I mean, most people would know the masquerade comes with different types of fabrics. That's
lots of different fabrics.
Yes, so that itself was a lot of craftsmanship right there. But then again, I know it was the 50th anniversary of Sugar Mass. I mean, besides COVID, it would have been a better carnival, but we have to, work with it.
Yes.
So I wanted to incorporate the 50th anniversary plus make the national dress in a creative way that would wow the audience and the judges. So I decided, let me not make so much of a carnival costume, but a national wear itself. So that's where I tried to go into getting different fabrics, different color fabrics from bells, mirrors, and it goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
The creative form.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, do you normally make dresses? Again, I know you as the feather boss. I have you on social media, so I see all of your great costumes. But do you normally make dresses?
Yes, I'm an all-rounder designer. I don't just do costumes. So I do swimsuits, I do evening gowns, I do wedding gowns. Yes. So I'm like a full course meal.
Ah, I see.
All right, so in speaking to Keneen's national dress specifically, we're walking through the different areas because we have here the headpiece, the shoulder and the neckline, the layered sleeves, and even just categorizing it this way suggests to me that it is a whole lot more than I would say observe with my naked eye, especially through the lens of a fashion designer. So let's begin with the headpiece. Talk about the colors and the fabrics for the costume.
The colors in the costume came about where I wanted to incorporate the national flag of St. Kitts, which has the numerous colors. white, yellow, black, red, and green. So I incorporate all those colors in the headpiece. And I also, as you can see, I also use peacock feathers, which most of us know that the masqueraders have peacock feathers a lot in
Yes.
their headgear.
Yes.
I also incorporated the number 50 in the back of the headdress, where I use fairy lights to highlight it so it was lit up in the back, but most
Oh,
people would not
wow.
know it was lit up. Yes. So the mechanics came in that the 50th was actually lighted at the back of the headdress.
Wow.
Impressive.
At the front of the headdress now, you will then see the actual mask of the masquerade that most of us know they wear.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it comes down to the actual dress, which is like a two dress combined into one, she had on a yellow underdress, which was made from yellow. And then that's where I made the skirt from the different strips of fabric and mirrors and bells.
Mm-hmm. So how long does something like this take? And again, you said it depicted the masqueraders, and I know there's lots of straight, as you mentioned, lots of different fabrics, mirrors, a lot of, intricate pieces. How long would something like this take?
It took me less than a week to produce, I must say.
Less than a week.
But less than a week.
That's lots of fabric. That's lots of sewing.
It takes. I know when I was at the last leg of the costume itself, I was probably sewing those strips of fabric from probably 4 o'clock in the day until 4 in the morning.
Wow.
So a week in your world is a whole lot longer for regular folk like me.
Yes. In my world, trust me, I go to sleepless nights. I wake back up in the morning and I just keep going and going and going. I mean, some people on the outside might think this is easy. It's not, because when others are sleeping, we are up making that costume that you want to be.
Right. And I mean, it actually lends itself to our next question, because as you said, it's lots of work. A lot of people think, okay, he's a fashion designer. That must be glamorous and fun and easy. But I only could imagine, even when you're designing costumes for, say, Miami Carnival, like how is that process? I know it's crazy.
For international carnival?
Yes.
It's a lot more challenging because if I have to do the production here in Antigua, then I have to work 3 times earlier than if I'm actually working in the actual carnival itself right there. For most carnivals, I will go to the country and produce the production, which might be easier because, we all know that when you're making a costume in another island, we have to think about freight charges and shipping the cost.
Right.
Yeah. And that's not an easy task anyone want to go through. So that's the most challenging part when I'm producing anything for international market.
So it would appear then that the life of a fashion designer isn't entirely glamorous, but it is rewarding work.
It might look glamorous behind the scene, but it's not actually that easy.
So what inspires you, Chandy? What inspires you generally, but even if we brought it back to your work for the Caribbean, your work with Canine even, what inspires you?
I'm just a lover of creating anything in general. I would not say anything inspired me per se, but put me into a fabric store or a trimming store and trust me, ideas will flow like 1 to a million.
I wanted to know how did you get into designing globally? You're from another small Caribbean country, Antigua, and now you're designing for places like China. You're designing for costumes in Miami. How did that happen? You're designing costumes in St. Kitts and Nevis and for pageants all around the region. How did that happen?
Most people would know me from my social platform, and I use my social platform as a marketing strategy. When I design something, like say I design something for Miami Carnival, I'm gonna do all my hashtags that everyone around the world will see this costume on social media. And that's how most people would get to know me. For instance, I would have clients come to me from Germany, even
Wow.
Australia, China. And I would be like, sometimes I don't want to ask, like, okay, how do you guys get in contact with me or know about me? But I just let it fly sometimes. But most people would say they saw me on social media, or they saw something I did, or they saw somebody tag something and they're like, hey, I need to get in contact with this guy. And that's how most people get in contact with me.